To be here. Just wanted to tell you that today I decided to play some instruments that are not very common here. Many times I play the quena flute, but this is called sikus. And the reason it's called sikus because it's two rolls, and typically the native people do not play it alone. This is a communal instrument. Everybody plays together. Even though I come from indigenous descent, I did not grow up in the Andes. I grew up in Lima. So most of my knowledge of indigenism has to do with my mom. She was full-blooded indigenous. But I learned later in life that the idea of being a soloist is a mestizo idea. The indigenous people do not play solo. They're no soloists. Everybody plays together. So play a little bit more for the sikus. A little more before we begin, right? Yeah, oh, it's time, but just for you to get an idea. I wanted to play that style because that's called tinku, and tinku means getting together in Quechua, the language of the Quechua people, the Incas. Tinku, when you get together, that's the type of music they call it, and tinku means precisely gathering of people. Thank you.
Good morning, Goshen. Thank you for being here. My name is Arlet Martinez, president and co-founder of One Circle.
And my name is Demetrio Garcia, and I am the vice president of One Circle.
This morning, we have the pleasure of having two special guests, Dr. Winsor Nosey and Teresa Nosey. Before we begin, I want to show you all a small video just to get some context on Oak Flat, which is something that has been really important for us and for One Circle. So just go ahead and take a minute to watch that video.
This is Oak Flat, a 6.5 square mile plot of land in Arizona's Tonto National Forest. The land is sacred to the Western Apache people. To you, it may look like any other Arizona desert, but to the Apache people, it's the birthplace of their religion. And then there's Resolution Copper, a project of the world's second largest mining corporation. To them, it's something entirely different, a massive copper deposit, and the opportunity to make lots and lots of money.
A mining giant is finishing up plans to dig under part of the area named Oak Flat.
This is where God touched the world. This is where a deity resides.
This copper mine would essentially destroy Oak Flat and some of the surrounding areas.
Oak Flat is really the cornerstone of our religion.
In the late 19th century, the Apache were driven away from Oak Flat and forced to live on the nearby San Carlos Reservation. But they still go back to learn about their history, live off the land, and practice their religious beliefs.
When my mother and my father would take us here as a little girl, we would get off the truck and we would pray. We get this teaching of understanding that everything is living, that Yosin has given life to it, and we have to respect it. All I knew as a little kid, was I would come here and I could be free. Our freedom to be Apache, our freedom to have our religion was here.
Ancient ceremonies hidden from outsiders are a part of this geocentric religion. One ceremony where filming is forbidden is called a sunrise ceremony.
The sunrise ceremony is a coming-of-age ceremony when a girl in our community has her first menstrual. It is within that year she has her coming-of-age ceremony.
Over the course of 3 days, the community comes together to sing songs and dance for hours on end. Angelic spirits called Gon, Apache believe they live in nearby Gon Canyon, possess the bodies of the crown dancers and dance with the girl.
And so you have these men who wear these masks and these crowns, and when they wear it, they're no longer the man that they were, that we call them. They're the Gon, they're the spirit. And we see them as this higher being. And they dance in the ceremony, and the girls will dance behind them, in a sense, following their lead.
On the morning of the third day, the girl is covered in white clay.
And when they paint her white, it symbolizes that she's coming into this womanhood, into this new world. Her eyes are closed and it's covered with paint. But when the godmother opens her eyes and wipes away the paint, she is no longer looking at the world as a little girl. She's looking at the world as a simkleje, as the first woman. And that's her first day of being reborn. And so this is a whole celebration in our community about the next generation, about us being able to give life. And it's amazing to see that one individual, one girl having her menstrual is being celebrated by her entire family and friends and community because she can carry such life within her. I'm 22 years old and I haven't had a child yet. And I've always wanted to have a kid. And when I come here, I almost feel rushed, you know, like I should have a child now because I would at least want my child to experience the land, you know, because that's my worry is that I don't have a kid. And so I should have one so that they can at least experience and breathe in the air because, like I said, it's sacred. We are surrounded by sacredness by standing here, and it's going to be gone forever.
Oak Flat was protected by the federal government starting in 1955. It's even included in the National Register of Historic Places as an important feature of the Western Apache landscape as a sacred site. Miners discovered copper beneath Oak Flat in 1995, and this is where Resolution Copper comes in. Their parent company, Rio Tinto, is an Australian company with a horrifying track record of dealing with indigenous peoples in their own country. They spent years lobbying U.S. Congress to give them Oak Flat in exchange for land that Resolution Copper owned elsewhere. These lobbying efforts weren't exactly a masterclass in ethical lawmaking. One congressman was convicted for soliciting a bribe in exchange for supporting the land transfer. Finally, in 2014, unable to get support for the land transfer outright, senior members of Congress, including Senator John McCain, a powerful member of the Senate Armed Forces Committee, and Senator Jeff Flake, a former lobbyist for Rio Tinto, they cut a deal to attach the land transfer without a vote and behind closed doors to the National Defense Authorization Act, a massive bill that Congress must pass each year. So, thanks to this last-minute backdoor deal with the government, Resolution Copper was now one step closer to carrying out their plans to mine Oak Flat, adding to 10 major copper mines already operating in Arizona. And Resolution Copper's mine would completely destroy Oak Flat, not only its natural landscape, but cultural artifacts and burial grounds too, including ancient petroglyphs.
So the copper deposit is over a mile underground, and there's no way to get to it from the surface. So the copper company's plan is to tunnel underneath Oak Flat and blast at the copper with dynamite and then have robots take out the ore. But over time, the amount of ground that they're going to remove is going to cause the surface of Oak Flat to collapse into a crater that's 2 miles wide and over 1,000 feet deep. And Oak Flat will just be gone, swallowed in a crater and gone forever. Nobody disputes that this has always been the land of the Western Apaches, but in the 1800s, when silver and gold were found nearby, the United States government authorized the wholesale destruction of Apaches, driving them off their land and confining them on a reservation, which was really more like a concentration camp, in order to make way for commercial mining interests. So the tragic irony here is that really history is literally repeating itself, with the government allowing a mining company to drive the Apaches off their land again, only this time to destroy it once and for all.
I want to thank all the people that have supported and all the people that are here. We heard it loud and clear in Indian country that anything on federal land is not safe. Nothing is holy and nothing is sacred to them.
The Apache people have been fighting the land exchange in the courts for years. In 2022, their lawsuit is expected to be appealed to the United States Supreme Court. They hope that under the Religious Freedom Restoration Act, the government must protect their land and their freedom.
This action by our government is not only unjust, but also violates multiple federal laws, including the Religious Freedom Restoration Act, the Free Exercise Clause of the Constitution, and the government's own treaty entered in 1852 with the Western Apache peoples. What you heard at oral argument was the United States, our government, saying that it has complete authority over all federal lands to destroy any sacred site that it wants, and that it won't face any scrutiny for that whatsoever.
I think it's really hard for people to understand that our spirituality and that our connection to Oak Flat and to the earth is a religion. Without it, without the land, without Chichiplagot, we have no spirit. We have no faith anymore because, you know, our food that nurtures us and our babies are going to be gone. Our shelter, our yucca, everything that we use, from our shoelaces to how we wash our hair to the stones we use for our prayers and our ceremony, are all a part of this land. You know, and when she dies, eventually our religion will go with it.
Thank you, guys. So, One Circle is an affinity group here on campus, founded on the basis of advocating for Indigenous survival and equity. Alongside co-founder Manny Villanueva, we have created a space on campus that brings attention to the harms of colonization being experienced by the Apache people and numerous other Indigenous communities around the globe. Today, I would like to introduce you to someone I hold in the highest regard, and as my family, Dr. Winsor Nosey.
Dr. Winsor Nosey is a former Peridot District Councilman and tribal chairman of the San Carlos Apache Tribe. He graduated from Globe High School in May 1978 and attended Marriott College in Oakland, California, and Phoenix College in Phoenix, Arizona, where he completed the State of Arizona Banking Academy. Dr. Nosey specializes in bioethics, sustainability, and global public health. After college, Winsor returned to San Carlos and was a tribal worker experience program director in 1982. In 1988, he was elected to the Tribal Council for the Peridot District, which governs the San Carlos Apache Tribe, and was re-elected in 2004, 2010, and 2012. He was inspired to run as tribal chairman and was elected in 2006 by the San Carlos Apache Tribe. Winsor is married to Teresa Beard Nosey, a member of the Navajo Nation. They have 6 children and 18 grandchildren. He is a long-distance runner and has participated in numerous marathons and half-marathons over the years. He is dedicated to the preservation and protection of Native American culture, artifacts, history, religion, and tradition. He is the founder and leader of the Apache Stronghold, where he continues to advocate for indigenous, religious, and human rights and protecting the future for the next generations to come.
Hopefully we see you at cross-country practice later. Welcome, Winsor.
First of all, I want to say thank you for all those who made it possible for me to be here today. I normally don't travel very much because of the work I'm doing back home. So I'm really selective, and thank you to these two who made it for me to be here today. So again, thank you so much. And to the school, everyone that has been involved and everyone that has been paying attention. Now, why am I here? You know, what does it mean to you? You know, what am I going to say to you? And how are you going to participate or either not participate? Well, the thing I say across the country is in Arizona, in the Southwest, is the last place of colonization. So in Apache, we are old and we are new, meaning that we are still old to our old ways and we are new to this new way. And so if you do a timeline, I'm firstborn reservation. My mother and father were born in a concentration camp. My grandfather walked in with my great-grandfather. My great-grandfather, when he was by himself, knew what freedom was. And so that's where I come from. And I tell the United States that there's nothing wrong to being criticized. From being criticized, you can become better. By looking at what we've done, we can alter things to make it even better. And so what I say has been the hopes of Native people, especially in the Southwest, because we've seen how drastic Arizona has changed so quick and so fast without really considering the effects. So it really brought us to a position to really understand, try to understand what America is when they talk about the American dream. And these are the things that are very crucial to all of us. Because you, as you sit there, you are a part of the American government land base. Decisions made in Arizona, California, Washington, wherever, we all have a responsibility. And that responsibility that we have really dictates the future of what our political people say and do. Now, when I go to D.C., it's very hard for the political people to listen to me because I'm well-versed in their government. And they can't lie to me. They can lie to everybody else, but they cannot lie to us. Because when you look at the economic engine of this government, it relies on the land. So what choices do they make? Today, as I stand here, our government does not have water and air and earth as a priority. It's the minerals that is a priority to our government. So what that means is that they don't care about me and they don't care about you. It's all about the economic engine that has come from colonization to what is the corporate companies carry forward in how we're going to survive. In the government, they talk about the solution to what's happening to the environment is a corporate way of thinking, that is our solution to solving the future. But yet, when you look at what it's done, it's destroyed many, many things. And so, as an Apache, I, for one, defended my people, is what you just seen here. Because mining surrounds where we live and has taken so much from us and never have given anything back. Not that we want anything back, but the fact, do things right. If you call this your home, then do it right. Do it for your children and the grandchildren that you have. But when we see corporations taking and taking and taking, that doesn't show us what the future is going to be in a positive way. So this fight really hits very different parts of who we all are. An economic engine, social life, policies that are made, you know, the effects of the future, what the Green New Deal is going to be, all this affects every one of us. So just to break it down as quick as I can, when you look at it from the political side, this, what you just seen was the United States government exempting all federal laws. So our culture, our religion, the artifacts, everything that we were before 2014 has been removed. So they have set that precedence all over the country, that if they win this case, then Native people's religion and history is gone. That means whatever starts from 2014 is new, but that's under the eyes of the government. Then to play with the policy, it affects all environmental laws all over the country. So this one here, you hear from corporations that these are foreign corporations the United States gave free and willingly gave them land and everything else, that all corporations are after the same thing now. I've met with people from North Carolina that are worried about corporations there now that the environmental laws has been diluted by our government. So it goes even further than that. It goes into stocks and bonds and so forth, where so many things are tied to this issue that nobody's making a moral decision anymore. So from the eyes of the Native people, there's not enough anymore. And even studies show you that. So for me to sit at Oak Flats and have scientists come from Tampa, Florida, wanting to know what Native beliefs are about solving the issues that we are all facing from the climate changes. What do Native people have to help solve those problems? And that's really scary when you have scientists coming to you and talking to you. They want to know what's next. Then 3-4 weeks ago, we were in Los Angeles meeting with the geologists, the top geologists of the world. 70% tell us directly in our face that they've warned all the governments in the world that there's a great shift by shifting all these minerals. But nobody wants to listen. It's about money. It's about stocks. It's about bonds. It's about what people care about the most. And yet, in this big meeting in Los Angeles, my wife and I, and some of us from the Stronghold, didn't know what to think when we were going home. They're really saying there's an end coming. Then when you meet other people that are lobbying in Washington, D.C., saying that the economy is going to crash somewhere, they're just waiting for it by the ignorant decisions that we make. So bringing the awareness here, like I will say, is to tell the truth. To tell you the truth, what's really happening. Because in Indian country, we have to deal with the United States government every day. And because lands that we have minerals, they have to, in the back door, be honest with us of what's going to happen. And what we say to them is, aren't you telling America the truth? Why aren't you telling American people what we're headed for? Because one of the great things that Resolution Copper, Rio Tinto, says clearly is that we do this because of the people. We do this because people are greedy. They want more, and they want more. So the mining people have already shifted the blame to every one of us because we're not satisfied. They will definitely stop if we're satisfied with what we have. Now it comes into the religion. I really hate seeing this video, but I think it's the best one that really gets the information across, is that the oldest religion of this country, which is Mother Earth, the care of Mother Earth, by the Supreme Court soon may eliminate it forever. The oldest religion of this country. This decision will be made for all Native Americans in this country. So the big question is, why are a lot of religious groups joining the Apache Stronghold? And I'm going to tell you why. So when I returned to the sacred place, I met a lady, same age as me, 66 years old. And she tells me, oh, I knew you were coming. Making a long story short, I asked her, can you pray for me? Because these spirits that you're talking about, these are their names. can you tell them that I'm a good person, that I'm here to help save this place? That's our ancient sacred place. So one morning, we met at Oak Flats, and a huge oak tree, she went over to pray. And as I stood there, the oak tree started to move. So I looked around, and no other tree was moving from no wind or anything. Just this tree was moving by itself. So naturally, I took 2 steps back, watched, forgot everything else, but just watched. And when she returned to me, I told her, I said, hey, did you see the tree moving? And she goes, oh, yeah, it does that every time I pray. And I'm like, whoa, okay. So anyway, in the environmental protection, there's a place where we could do a statement. So we had about 400 Apaches, total, even off the reservation, about 4,000 people write a statement. So she helped us. And I turned to her and I said, why can't you write one? She goes, can I? And I said, yeah, why can't you write one? So she did. So we turned in a package this huge to the United States. And of course, they stamped it and then they gave it back to me. But that gut feeling, something was missing. So I went through it 3 times. The third time, I found what was missing. So of course, I called the United States and I wanted a meeting with them. And so we met, and of course, we're litigating with each other, so they have to have their attorneys. And so when we met, I laid the package on the table. And this is the crucial part I want you to really listen to. We laid it on the table, and we both knew what was missing. And I said to them, I said, there's a certain document in here missing. They said, we know. I said, well, it's missing. And the response from the United States was, she's a white lady. And I said, the document, why is it missing? And the United States responded one more time to me and said, she's a white lady. And I looked at the United States and I said, I know she's a white lady. Why is it missing? What the United States government said to me was something I'll never, ever forget. Because in Apache, there's only one God, one Spirit, one Mother Earth. We're all family. For me, you're my Shiki, you're a relative to me. In Apache, there's no dividing people. There's no such thing, because we all are blessed. These are the things that American history, American government, or American whatever, they don't want to share with you about the kind of people that we are, because we're family oriented. We have personal sovereignties that we have to the Creator, that you have as well too. We all do. So what they say to me is, in America, the only ones that can have a spiritual connection to the earth is Native people and nobody else. I sat there and I looked, because this is about religion now. This is about the Creator, as you know, as God. So I said to them, wait, can you say that to me again? They said the only ones that can have a spiritual connection here on this side of the earth to God is Native people and nobody else. Then they got a little smart with me and said, if they want to have any kind of spiritual connection, they can go back to the other side of the world. Then I gradually got up and I looked at the door and I said, does all the white people know that? Do all the black people know that? Do all the Asian people know that? And everybody else who came, do they know what their own government thinks of them? Silence across the room. That's when our fight changed, because our fight is to save a sacred religious place. And that's why I'm so grateful to every one of the religions have joined this battle for those religious purposes, just like what the attorney said in the video. So does it matter what happens in Arizona? Does it matter here? Yes, it does. I think so. I really think we all do matter. But that's my court case. So my court case is not an Apache fight. If you look at that and say, oh, that's Apache. No, it's about you. It's about me. It's about our children. It's about those yet to be born. It's about this country. It's about who we are. What are we going to make it to be? You know, and that's really scary. Because to us, it's a prophecy that's happening. That there's going to be a time and place that this is going to happen. But there's going to be even a greater war. And that's going to be the technology that we all are being introduced to. Because it's taking away so many things from us. And that's why it looks more devastating down the road if we don't wake up. So everything does matter. The wind, the water you drink, all that is like in line to be crucified for wealth. So we're in a time where moral decisions have to be made. We're in a time where we have to look deep inside us of who we are. And we got to remember that America is a really unique place because it brings so many people from around the world here. And you're a part of that. And you're young people. A lot of you can make these great changes, but you have to pay attention. You have to listen. What the foremothers had far before us is not the same anymore. All those minerals, all those things are gone. Can't live in an illusion. We have to look at what is real. And never give up your sovereignty of your spirituality. Because in this battle, they're trying to make us like everybody else in America, where we have no spiritual connection to Mother Earth. Now I understand why across this country, nobody could help Native people. I carry chains around my wrists, ankles. You've carried them longer than I have with your parents. But it's going to take that strong spiritual belief to make changes where no hate is involved. What we're after is the evil that created this. People are like pawns. They can be easily be used. But if you hang on to that sovereignty of what God gave you in here is what gives you the strength. So in closing, again, I want to say thank you so much. I'll be here in your university being with you all. So I know I speak tomorrow night, so I encourage you to come because this is just barely the touch of it. It's something that you can use in the career that you have, decision that you're going to make. And don't ever be afraid to make it because you're talking about Mother Earth. You're talking about those very things that give us life. So again, I just want to say thank you to the university for having me here. Orlette and the gang, thank you to the cross-country team. You don't know how much this place has made changes around the country where runners, after this school dedicated their year of running to the Apache Stronghold to save Oak Flats, many did that around the country. But this school led the way. So thank you so much for that. And you have a lot to be proud of in everything that you guys do individually, but collectively we're more powerful. So with that, I want to say thank you so much for having me this afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Winsler. Yes, so to just follow up, there's an event schedule posted on One Circle GC on Instagram as well as around campus. Winsler will be speaking again tomorrow night for the Beachy Peace Lecture. And then we are going to have a sunrise run if you all will want to join that on Friday morning. I know if you guys have 8 a.m.s, I'm sorry, but the sunrise rises late now. Thank you. I want to go ahead and invite my One Circle people to stand up really quick just to acknowledge you guys. Thank you. They have some stickers and some pins provided by Windsor and Teresa. So if you guys want little goodies, just find them, and you are welcome to head out. Remember to stand together in one drum, one prayer, and one circle. Thank you.